The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, presented to you by Shady Rays. SGPN is teaming up with Shady Rays for Shady May. Get 50% off your Shady Rays using promo code SGPN, and then go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store, just in time for the summer. The SGPN store has a new line of mesh shorts. Use promo code SHORTS at sports.gamblingpodcast.com for 10% off. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Know me, know the voice, know the guy. It's me, really real, Villain Rail, Terrell from Virginia, here at your service. And death, taxes, the Suns being down 30 at halftime of an elimination game. All are for certain in this world. Denver, you got to respect them. Denver got it done. Went into Phoenix, got it done. We say a series never starts until the road team wins. A team wins on the road. A series never starts until a team wins on the road. Well, that series started and ended on the same night. Scott Studio Rochelle. Scott, what's going on?
There's a lot to unpack from what happened yesterday, both because of really just the embarrassing performances that we saw from two teams with a history of embarrassing performances in big games. Philly set the bar pretty high when it came to embarrassing loss based on how that fourth quarter unfolded. And then Monty Williams and the Suns said, "Hold my beer." And they trailed by 30 again in an elimination game at home at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that performance was worse just because at least Philly showed up for the first 3.5 quarters of the game.
Actually, just third quarter.
First half of the fourth quarter, I guess, was okay. I mean, they scored 3 points in the final 5 minutes and 56 seconds.
Yeah, I think Philly just showed up for the third quarter, and that was it. Everything else was all Boston.
Yeah, that's fair too. That's a good point. But the point is, there's a lot to unpack, which I kind of want to. It's one of those shows.
Ew, no.
I was going to say, it's one of those shows where I know we give out picks, so we're not going to focus much on what happened yesterday. But if I really, really wanted to, I probably could do like an hour discussion on what the hell unfolded yesterday because there's a lot to unpack. But I'm not going to do that. I feel like I got to start off. I'm going to ask you, where do you want to start for a brief recap? Do you want to start off with the 30-point halftime defeat? Or do you want to
I'm going back to our way of making sure we don't be here for an hour by both of us giving one topic of the night that we want to talk about.
That's why I'm letting you pick, and I'll talk about the other one.
I mean, I'll just give props to Denver because I've been shitting on Denver all year. So this is a perfect time for me to give props to Denver. That was a good performance. That was a really, really good performance on the road to be able to get that done. And, they let Devin Booker and Kevin Durant run wild for an entire series. And when the world needed them most, they vanished. And so, yeah, very, very good defensive matchup, holding them to 100 points in the game, 125-100 by Denver. I understand why they're the favorite to win the title right now. Do I 100% agree? We'll see. But I understand, and they proved me wrong. So shout out Denver for getting that series win.
Yeah, for me, even though Booker and Durant both didn't play well, in hindsight, I'm not sure if it mattered that much because Phoenix could not get a stop to save their lives the entire game. It's one thing if you're going to be, scoring 120 and you got to try to win anyway, but even if Phoenix scored 120, they still would have lost. They gave up 81 points in the first half. They gave up 44 points in the first quarter of a home elimination game, which can't happen. But it seemed like Phoenix the entire series had no answers defensively. I've been very critical of Phoenix's defense the entire series, and rightfully so. And Ayton didn't play.
You're cheating, by the way.
What do you mean?
You are adding all of your thoughts on this game, and then you're about to add your thoughts on the other game right after you're doing both games.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're just doing this one?
I was just going to make a statement about Phoenix's defense and how people are going to criticize Durant and Booker for playing poorly in an elimination game, which is fair. At the same point, though, Denver, if they really, really wanted to, and they brought the same effort in the second half, they could have scored 140 points. Like, if we're just being honest with ourselves, they had 81 points in the first half, 40 plus points in the first quarter. I'm not sure if it mattered how well Durant and Booker played, because defensively, with Ayton being out and having to watch Biyombo and Jock Landale try to guard Jokic for the entire game, Denver really could have scored 140 points. Do we agree on that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if it matters if Durant and Booker, didn't have great games, because damn, Denver did whatever they wanted offensively the entire game. It really just didn't matter. But yeah, my main takeaway was that Denver's offense, best offense in the league. Jokic, you can make an argument now looking back on it if he should have been MVP or not. To be honest, I don't really care. I will say that he's easily a top 2 player in the league, and he might not be 2. I think he's just that dominant. I'm hoping he wins a title, just because I do think he's got top 20 player of all time upside, top 10 upside, if you want to really be honest with it. But I was very impressed with Denver.
Well, he needs to win the title. He needs to win the title.
Yeah, he does.
That by the letter of the law, he has to win the title, or there's going to be a whole different conversation about.
Well, that's why I said upside. I think if he wins at least one, he has a serious argument of being top 20, potentially top 10 all time, and the stats speak for themselves. The point is, Denver, I just feel like right now is the most complete team in the league. And yes, it is a weaker year compared to other years where usually you don't have that many flawed contenders, but you're going through the teams left in the playoffs. I have an issue with every single team, but I do think that Denver has significantly less flaws than most, if not all, of the other remaining teams. I hope Denver wins. I find them entertaining. Jokic is one of my favorite players, but I have to at least point out that Denver offensively did whatever they wanted the entire series against Phoenix, and Phoenix did not have the capacity to stop anybody in that series. And that was really what stood out to me in Game 6.
All right. Before we get into the games that are actually playing tonight, I got to talk to you about Shady Rays and Shady May's. SGPN is teaming up with Shady Rays to bring you Shady May, where not only do you get an amazing 50% off your Shady Rays, but you can have a chance to win $500. How do you do it? I will tell you, is that you use promo code SGPN for 50% on 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses, and then take your receipt to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500 in the Shady May contest. And for our international listeners, Shady Rays has you covered with shipping to Canada. Who put Australia up here? I mean, I love our Australia,
Australia
guys
in there, and I'm like,
that's
all right.
Hey man, that's bold. That is bold. I would hate to be that delivery person. I love our Australia guys. I do. I just cannot get past that. That is a very, very dangerous country, and there's like a bunch of poisonous things and animals and insects that want to kill you.
Are you afraid that like kangaroos are going to steal your Shady Rays? Is that what's going on right now?
Yeah, very much so. Or it's going to be like one of those spiders that's the size of a frying pan.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah. If the Shady Rays make it to you, Australia, then you got to take a picture with them. You got to prove that all the dangerous animals and everything did not stop your Shady Rays from making it to your crib. So go order Shady Rays. You can get them to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. ShadyRays.com, promo code SGPN. And don't forget about your SGPN shorts from the merch store. We have a whole line of mesh shorts. You can take them hiking. You can take them for any summer activity, anything at all. Store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com/ but use code shorts, 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 for 10% off the mesh shorts in the merch store. All righty, here. Let's see.
I do want to ask though, but before we officially get into the games tonight, can we at least have like a brief Doc Rivers discussion?
No, you had your chance. I knew you was gonna do this. No, I knew. I knew you was gonna do this.
For like 2 minutes.
That's why. No, you used your recap on. You used your recap on the same game. You blew it. You blew it.
2 minutes.
No, because that's how our shows get. That's why everybody jokes us and say our shows always go long. It's because we sit here and we get these 20-minute recaps because I say one topic and then you have to comment on my topic and then do your topic.
Yeah, it's just
2 minutes, Scott.
Just 2 minutes quickly. Are we even surprised at this point with Doc Rivers? Like the problem that I have, besides his whole career and blowing 3 separate 3-1 leads, I saw comments from Sixers Twitter talking about how this is the worst performance they've seen in the process era. I can think of like 3 or 4 equally bad performances, all with Doc Rivers as the head coach. And I feel like not enough people are thinking about like that 27-point blown lead against the Hawks a couple years ago. But the brief point I was going to make was just Doc Rivers. That's really the only point I have to make. I don't think I have to mention many stats. I don't think I have to mention any details behind it. It was a disaster class, and I'm really looking forward to Doc Rivers and James Harden in the Game 7 together. That's it.
Yes.
That's all I want to say.
You could have saved that for literally Game 7.
I don't know if I'm doing the Game 7 podcast, so I don't know if I could have waited to say that.
All right. Yes, no, it was a very, very bad game and very frustrating. But 3 games was a lot to ask for. But still, they could have did it. They easily could have did it.
And
All
shout
right,
out
New
to
York
Tatum
Knicks.
for being good in the fourth quarter. That's it.
New York Knicks are traveling to play the Miami Heat in Game 6 of their series, where the Miami Heat lead 3-2. The Heat are a 6-point favorite, opened up at 4.5. It has moved to 6. 209 was what the total opened up at. It's come down to 208. Looking at an injury report here for both of these teams, and coming off the bench, Emmanuel Quickly with that ankle injury, looks like he is not going to go for today. He is officially listed as doubtful, but I'm seeing multiple people and outlets saying that you shouldn't be expecting him at all. And for the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler with his ankle is probable. Caleb Martin probable. Hayward Highsmith probable. And that is it. So it looks like you'll see more than likely a full assortment of everybody for the Miami Heat. Okay. Wednesday, the Knicks went in and did what some people thought was the impossible and beat the Miami Heat. The league has now responded with the Knicks winning, and they have sent in the extender to this game. Does the extender get another win here today?
I was going to say, you said responded. I'd use the term rewarded for winning that one game. That's how I would say it. But there are some really, really, I'd say, alarming
This could go
stats.
one way or another. This can absolutely go one way or another.
There are some really alarming stats, historically speaking, with Miami having Scott Foster as the ref. And I don't know if Scott Foster thinks that Kyle Lowry and Chris Paul are the same guy, but there are a lot of really bad numbers for Miami with Foster as the ref. I don't know if you're aware of the exact numbers. Are you aware of the
I'm
exact
not.
numbers?
Do you have them?
Yes, I do. Miami's last 10 games with Foster as the ref, they are 1-9 against the spread, and they are 0-10 straight up.
Is that like games period, or is that playoff games?
Let me just confirm here. I'm pretty sure that's just games period.
Okay.
But they are 0-10 in their last 10 with Scott Foster as the ref.
Yikes.
Yes, it is just any game at all, regular season playoffs. They had a game with Scott Foster earlier this series. I believe he was the ref for game 2, and the Knicks won that. So, yeah, Miami is 0-10 in the last 10 games straight up with Scott Foster as the official.
It's interesting because when I saw it, I was like, this could be really good for us because we could get all the calls that we weren't getting. But this could be really bad because that means Jimmy Butler could probably take 43 free throws today.
But then you look at the numbers that I just mentioned, you're like, oh, Miami really hates this guy.
So, yeah, like very, very much. So
I think it has to impact my handicapping, doesn't it?
I mean, why does Scott Foster impact the handicapping for every other game except this one? Like any other time we see Scott Foster, like, hey,
the man is the extender. There's only one team that needs extending. I just got to point it out. I think it's going to help out the Knicks, but I do find it interesting that the spread has moved from what did the line open up at 4.5, right? Initially,
yep,
4.5 or 5.
It's moved to 6. You have lower bets, higher dollars, but still public money. 78% of the money on the 73% of the money on the Miami Heat. It moved 78%. Oh my gosh, hold on. Pull up? Okay, there we go. 73% of the bets, 82% of money on the Miami Heat. That is what you're looking at right now. It was more. It actually went down a little bit, but And the line just moved again to for the total 207.5. So under money is coming in, Heat money is coming in. That's where everybody's on in this game.
I think I'm going to lean to the Knicks. I don't feel great about it, and I still
There's only
believe
one way the Knicks. There's only one way the Knicks are in this
I was
game.
going to say, I still believe that the Heat are the better team. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
suddenly going to switch up because the Knicks won a home game. But I
Yeah.
do think that there's a bit of optimism now. The fact that you saw Brunson, Randall, and Barrett all play well in the same game. I feel like that might build some confidence moving forward into game 6. And I can tell you right now, I know I was all over Brunson overs in game 5, despite thinking Miami was going to win the series in game 5. They can't guard Brunson. Brunson's doing whatever the hell he wants in the series, and I actually am a little bit surprised, but also kind of relieved that Thibodeau had the presence of mind to just realize Brunson cannot sit on the bench for any minutes in any game, and he has to play a full 48. They needed every minute from Brunson in that game, and he gave him a masterclass. And I do think that when you have a guy that you can trust late in games, and I trust Brunson late in games, if Randall and Barrett give you something, I do think the Knicks can get enough scoring in order to actually win this game. And you've mentioned all year long, I know the playoffs might be a bit different. Miami's been very good in the underdog role. As a favorite, they have been really, really bad against the spread. And I know the playoffs have been a bit different, but still, maybe I'm a little bit traumatized by Miami failing to cover all the time as a home favorite throughout the entire season. I'm going to lean to the Knicks. I do think 6 is too many points, and Miami did outplay them in game 4 pretty handily, and Miami still only won that game by 8. Like, the Knicks hung around despite being outplayed pretty badly in game 4. I'm going to lean to the Knicks. I think 6 is too many points. Trying to remove bias, do you think 6 feels like too many points for a series?
It does.
It feels a little bit large.
Yeah, it does. And I think it's really more because Miami was up 3-1 at one point. And they're just like, there's no way that, Miami blows this and goes back to New York for game 7.
With
Plus,
Butler
you think
and
about
Spoelstra, you just assume it's gonna be,
and you think that, you see that there's a game 7 across the way up in Boston. It's like, all right, we can, take this time, get a couple extra days rest, scope out them in this game 7, not even have to, I think that's what everybody's assuming. But man, Scott Foster, one, was just that goes into it. The fact that I'm fading the public goes into it as well. I'm a very contrarian better. There's only one way the Knicks are even in this game, and it's if Julius Randle goes off, man. Like if
Define goes off, you're talking about
he has to, he at the very least, to get the cover, he has to at least hit his points prop. Okay. But if he hits anything else higher than that, then they're probably money line forcing game 7 potential. But it's like, how do you trust Julius Randle, man?
Well, you mentioned Randle, but I got to bring up a big reason why you kind of have to trust Randle, even in the win. And it's a big reason why Brunson played 48 minutes. And I mentioned all his player prop overs because Quickly was out in game 5, and I thought he would play a bunch of minutes. They don't have a bench. Even in the game 5
win, they cheated Josh Hart, man. I've been sick about that for the past couple of days.
That is fair.
Like that was, oh my god, that was disgusting.
But what did the Heat outscore them on the bench? It was like 40-10. Like it was disgusting.
I will look it up and tell you.
I'm pretty sure it was like 42-10 in bench points. It was something.
Let's see, math in public, 28, 37, 42.
I think it was 42-10.
42-8.
42-8. Okay. The Knicks don't have a bench. I know Josh Hart might have gotten screwed over, but we'll see if Grimes is healthy. I know he had that great steal on Butler, but he was a bit banged up at the end of regulation. That does put a lot of extra pressure on the starters, especially the stars. So the Knicks might need solid performances once again from Brunson, Randall, and Barrett. I think it's doable in theory.
If there was an over minutes played prop, just bet it on every starter. Like
pretty much.
It's Tibbs, yo. Tibbs is gonna go to his guys, and I think the only reason Randall sat down is because he was booty to start the game. But if he was clicking, he probably would have played all 48 too. He sat him
I will give
out of
Randall props
necessity.
though. Randall was really bad early in that game, but he did pick it up in the second half. I'll give him
He
props for
did.
that.
He did very much so. I
But
unfortunately I'm gonna stick with my series pick, even though I really don't want to, but I'm not gonna go against what I picked, what I projected, because Lord knows have mercy that if the Knicks were to ever come back and win this series and come back from a 3-1 deficit, I would be unconsolable. Everybody on this podcast would be tired of me and we'd probably be losing listeners. So I am not gonna go against my pick now. Unfortunately, I hate this team so much. I'm still gonna stick by them. Knicks +6.
see, I do think that it makes sense why money has come in this heavily on the Heat, just because of the fact that the Knicks
They're the
won a
better
home
team.
game. They scored 98 points in the last 3 quarters. You're assuming they're not going to hit as many threes. And once again, they have no bench. So there's a lot of pressure on specific guys to show up, while Miami does have a lot of options if a star player has a bad game. But I think 6 is too many, simply put. It's a low total. You have Scott Foster shenanigans in store. I do think 6 is too many. I'm going to take the Knicks.
What I will say, well, no, I'll actually save that for the prop section because we might actually. Oh no, that might be jinxing them. I might actually not say it. Whatever. All right, we're going to the total. Total's at 207.5. What are you doing?
I think I'm going to lean to the under. We had 2 elimination games yesterday. Each game went under. I'm not saying it's going to be Philly ugly, but I do expect the pace to be pretty limited in this game. I think both teams are going to be very methodical. I think both teams will do whatever they can to actually get back and force the other team to beat them in the half court. I'm going to lean under. I can see a really ugly game here. And with Scott Foster, you would blindly assume overs. But I do think the random foul calling could really kill the overall flow of the game, which we kind of saw in game 2. And I know that Butler didn't play. And I know game 2 ended up being somewhat high scoring anyway at 216 because the fourth quarter was a free throw fest at the end. But I do think that I'm going to lean to the under here. You really can expect to see just a large amount of defensive intensity for both teams. I'm going to lean under. I think most people would be on the over. But I do wonder, with the amount of minutes these starters are playing for the Knicks, is fatigue going to play a factor? Maybe. I know Butler is now back on the injury report, so I'm curious how he's dealing with the injury, because I don't want to say he no-showed game 5. It was a pretty passive performance from Butler, who I believe only had 19 points. He only took like 12 shots. It seemed like he really wasn't forcing much. I am curious if Butler's maybe showing off his poker face a bit on how much the ankle's actually bothering him right now. I'm going to lean to the under.
All right. Yeah, I'm on the under. I'm just gonna go under with these elimination games and just follow the trend. It's been really good, and I always thought game 6s, game 7s probably had more under potential because at this point you've got all this data, all this other stuff, all these adjustments, everything is coming.
You have
into
the film
play.
on everything that the team ever's wanted to do.
And so now you're making adjustments to the adjustments to the adjustments to the adjustments. Like you're doing all of this. You're slowing the game down. You're going to see more fouls because people are trying to extend their season. Like, so that's going to, it could potentially push for an over, but that's going to at least, like you said, take the tempo, take the pace, take the rhythm out of the game. So very, very low total. But I mean, the Knicks have been struggling scoring, and Miami never really has shown a need to put up a crazy amount of points either. So,
and there's always a chance. There's always a chance the Knicks once again have a bad offensive game, kind of like game 3. Maybe they only put up 90 points. They've been really bad offensively on the road. I believe they're averaging around like 94 points per game on the road. There is a chance they single-handedly drag this total under.
All right. What side did you say you were on in regards to the two
teams? We're gonna lean to the Knicks.
Yeah. I'm just sticking with the Knicks because that's I mean,
I just think 6 is too many points in my opinion.
Make your own deductions off of that though. All right. Before 61% of the bets, 99% of the money is on the under. Props.
I'm on Brunson overs again. I don't really care, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can't say no. Everything I said that would happen for Brunson in game 5 happened. Maybe not to the same degree. I didn't think he'd go for basically a borderline 40 piece, but still, I thought he was going to play 45 plus minutes because Quickly's hurt. They have no backup point guards, basically. So he's going to have to play a bunch of minutes. And he showed up and had a masterclass. So I'm assuming Brunson once again plays 45 plus minutes. His points prop is 28.5. If you want to pivot, maybe you can look at assists. If you think Spoelstra's adjustment might be some doubling or to force the ball out of his hands, I got to take Brunson overs again. It's 28.5 points. Maybe you can pivot to threes. I like the assists. I like everything with Brunson, basically, because I still don't think that he can actually guard him. So I'm on his overs. I'm trying to think of what else I really like.
I think I really like his assist today because remember that crazy Randall was like basically 100% from the field, 40-piece game, the double bang on the road. They threw a lot of double teams at Jalen Brunson that game. And I know he kind of tweaked his ankle towards the end of that game, but they threw a lot of double teams at him over the course of that game. And I'm curious if they do that again today. And they say, all right, Julius has been this bad. Like how they started the series throwing double teams at Julius. What if they start double teaming him a lot? That's why I really, really was considering his assist today. I feel like that he could be getting a lot of double teams after that performance at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I feel the same way with that. I was tempted by a Mitchell Robinson rebound prop, but the foul trouble scares me so much. But he was really good in the Game 5 win, and the Knicks dominated on the glass, which has been a bit of an issue for them at various points in the series. Big reason is because of Robinson's foul trouble. But I saw it was at 8.5. I thought that was pretty tempting. I see RJ Barrett's at 20.5 points. He has been very good in the series, but I am worried that number's a bit inflated after how well he played in Game 5. So I think I'm going to pass on that one. But I do think I'm probably going to lean to Robinson rebounds. He was that good in Game 5, and he actually made the Hack-a-Shaq free throws at the end, which was a bit shocking, but at least he made the free throws at the end, which matter. I think I probably like Robinson rebounding overs because we know Bam is unserious on the glass. I believe Bam had 2 rebounds the entire second half in Game 5.
Oh, shout out to Nick. What is it? At CBB_Nick or at CBB Nick on Twitter. Nick took Bam's rebounds over 8.5, and I think Bam had like
he had 6 in the first half. And
he had 6 in the first half and finished with 8, and he was like literally throwing up. And I was just looking at the tweet like, dang.
That's
yikes.
Crazy.
Bam, yeah, like that's crazy. Like, but Bam be doing that. Like he be doing that sometimes, and it's really frustrating. That's why I just leave him alone.
But I do think Robinson rebounding over makes sense at 8.5. If you think he's going to have to play decent amount of minutes, and I think he might because the Knicks need to win the boards if they're going to win this game.
I was thinking rebounds. I was thinking Randall, not Robinson, just because how good Randall's been in the series on the boards and how good he's been against the Heat on the boards and being able to get rebounds. So I have a few things as well. I'm going back to him, man. It was at 9.5 last game. He had 3 early fouls, one of which was really, really like
touchy.
Yes, like come on, he chopped a foot 2 feet inside the arc. Like, but either way, Josh Hart is no man. He's been getting minutes all series. They just had Grimes and Brunson both play 48. I refuse to admit that Josh Hart doesn't get the minutes and the opportunity to get 6.5 points. I refuse.
And
I will
Grimes
go down
is banged
with that
up.
show. Yes, and Grimes is banged up. I will go down with the Josh Hart ship. If the Josh Hart ship sinks today, then I'm sinking with it. Aye, Captain. I'm with Josh Hart, and I'm going all in on Josh Hart again.
So does that mean you'd, in theory, be on an under for Grimes? He's at 9.5. He only scored 8 points last game, and he played the full 48 minutes. 9.5 feels very high.
I'm afraid because, like, Grimes. What if? I mean, he can hit 2 threes.
Oh, he can, but I'm saying
he's
injured.
Sweating.
He's injured. He only scored 8 points last game in 48 minutes. 9.5 feels a bit high, doesn't it?
You're right. If I were to do, I wouldn't bet it individually, but I would do it in like a parlay.
And I think it's correlated.
Yeah, and I would take maybe 10 plus for Hart and then under 9.5. Yeah. So Grimes doesn't get the 10, Hart gets the 10, and they just all right.
I also want to point out that Hart. Wait, so do you see a number on Hart, or are you speculating?
No, I saw a number on I saw it on Action, but let me go to the actual book and just confirm.
So just to confirm how sketchy that actually is, you're telling me that Grimes, a guy that played 48 minutes, has a player prop over under of 9.5 points, but a Hart who played 9 minutes last game has a higher over under player prop and points?
What?
He played.
No. Hart has 6.5
I thought he
on
said
bet.
10 and a half. I thought he said
No,
10.
6. No, I said adjusted up to 10, but
Oh,
at
sorry. Okay,
BetMGM,
my bad.
yeah,
I thought you meant
BetMGM you
default.
can
Okay,
get
that makes more
BetMGM
sense. Okay.
BetMGM you can get Josh Hart for over 6.5 minus 110,
Yeah,
and the
I
under is
I would
minus
take the
120.
over on that. That feels a bit low.
So yeah, I'm 100% with that. Okay,
I am
so
willing to that Grimes under though.
Jimmy Butler. I mean, the Oats. It's at 28.5. He hasn't hit that number.
He's gone under every game, I think.
Yeah. The only game that he's hit the over was a regular season game.
Yeah.
I
Even the
mean,
Butler
how hurt
assist
is
again.
Grimes? How hurt? It depends on how hurt Grimes is. I mean, he's not even on the injury report. I don't think Grimes wasn't on it. Yeah, he's not even on the injury report. So it's like he's a little banged up, but he's gonna play. So it's like, do they just do what he's been doing, and Jimmy is just facilitating and getting it out? I mean, how they won those other games was the 3-point shooting by everybody else. So it just feels like you go back to that.
Yeah, I
And
don't really
Jimmy,
think Miami's game plan is going to change that much offensively from game 5 to game 6 because Miami got a lot of really good looks. They just bricked a bunch of open threes.
yeah,
Watching the game back, Butler assists have been very good in this series. So I'd probably lean there as a
yeah,
starting point. I'd probably take the over, but you can make an argument, Butler's going to show up and try to end the series himself and do this
yep.
whole thing. But 28.5 still feels large for, once again, a guy who's gone under in every game in the series. Miami got good looks. Just besides Duncan Robinson, who also missed a couple of open shots in the fourth quarter, Kevin Love went 0 for 7. Vincent
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been able to shoot the last couple of games. Lowry didn't exactly shoot that well either. They had a lot of open looks. So I don't think the shot quality is going to result, I don't think the shot quality was that bad that Spoelstra's going to pivot off of what's been working. I think they stay with it. They just hope that at home the role players make more shots.
That's another person I wanted to quickly talk about. Gabe Vincent, 9.5 points. It's juiced to minus 130 to the over. So people are betting over and think that he'll have a bounce back in a closeout game. But he's been pretty brutal for
He's been really, really bad.
what was it, 3 games?
I believe so.
Can we trust Gabe Vincent to turn it around for game 6?
I don't fully trust him, but I understand why people like the over. It's because based on what he's done earlier in the playoffs, he was a huge factor. The volume's usually there. He had 21 points in game 2, but once again, Butler didn't play in game 2, so that's a bit of an outlier. But
He had 20 in game 1.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at the last 3 games in particular, so he had 20 points in game 1, 21 points in game 2. Since that point, he had 5 points in game 3 on 1 of 8 shooting, 3 points in game 4 on 1 of 7 shooting, and 6 points on 3 of 10 shooting. So he's 5 for his last 25 in the last 3 games. But I guess the argument is if he's going to attempt a minimum of like 8 shots in a game and you need him to make 3 and maybe a free throw or so, then you could probably find a way to go over. I'm probably not going to take the over on Vincent because I don't want a guy that's shot 5 for 25 in the last 3 games to take an over with. But I can understand the argument if you think he's quote unquote due for positive regression to shoot better.
Yeah. I haven't been able to get there. I wanted to, but I haven't been able to get there. But I wouldn't be surprised. I just feel like he's the one that goes over when everybody's just now gets down on his under. Like, you know how somebody would be bad for multiple games, but people are like, he'll pick it back up, and then when everybody gives up is when they have a good game.
I feel like that might be Kevin Love in this game, to be honest. He went 0 for 7 from 3. I don't know why Kevin Love is attempting 7 threes in a game in 2023, but I mean, the volume might be there. Who knows? And if Miami's going to get killed on the glass like they did in game 5, you might see Love get more minutes. Maybe.
All right. Before we get to the last game of the slate, got to talk to you about Talkify because they are the country's #1 modern matchmaking service and they can help you achieve relationship success. This is what they do. They handle all the grunt work for you. They screen your potential candidates. They do background checks, video interviews. They ask the tough questions that are too awkward for a first date to help you find your perfect match. And they're so good that 80% of their clients meet their perfect match within their first 12 matches. Right now, TalkFi is offering our listeners 20% off when you become a client at talkify.com/SGPN. That is Talkify, TAWKIFY.com/SGPN for 20% off when you become a client. Talkify.com/SGPN. All right. Second and last game of the slate, we have the Golden State Warriors traveling to Los Angeles to play the Los Angeles Lakers. Line opened up at 2.5 for the Lakers, -2.5. It's now up to -3. 223.5 was the total. Guess what? All the way down to 220. Injury report for these two teams, and we have for the Golden State Warriors. Andrew Wiggins is questionable with that rib injury. I would like to throw out there the fact that Kevon Looney did play with this injury in 2019. He was very much in pain, but he played through it. Patrick Baldwin Jr. is questionable with the toe. You have for the Los Angeles Lakers, Anthony Davis is probable with the head injury, and Obama's questionable with the ankle injury. So a lot to unpack here.
Well, there's also a lot with the total because, sorry to interrupt, for the banner that I'm about to display, I had 221, but I prepared the banner right before we went on air. I tried to get the most updated lines. So the line dropped about 1.5 or a point on the total within the last hour. That's a lot of line movement at 11 a.m.
Oh, it's a lot of line movement in the morning. There's a lot of reverse line movement on. So this line, and I've been watching it. And so it opened up to, and whoa, can you see me?
I believe so. Yeah.
Why did my screen just lock? What? Why did it do that? It never does that. That was weird. All right,
I didn't want you to pull up the numbers.
I know they really didn't. Okay, so line has been moving tremendously. Opened up 2.5. I did see it go to 3 at one point, and then it came back down to 2.5, and it's been playing around with 2.5 for about 24 hours. And then today comes and it goes up to 3. Meanwhile, all the money, well, not all the money, but a good portion of the money is still on Golden State. Like 54% of the bets, 55% of the money is on Golden State. So that is interesting. I don't think that it changes my pick. I already had the Lakers going into this game, that I thought the Lakers was just going to close it out at home. And this was going to, after I gave up on my Lakers in 5 bet that looked really, really well, not Lakers in 5, but my series to end in 5 looked really, really good for a second.
You had an opportunity that most people thought you weren't going to have.
Yes, very much so. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I think now is the time. Like, I just think the depth, and you got the Wiggins game. You got the Draymond game last game. Now Wiggins is over here trying to figure out how he's going to breathe through this game. Because I don't know if you've had a rib injury, but it's really, really hard to breathe, especially when you're exhausted.
What did they officially determine it was? It was fractured.
It's like a cartilage.
I think.
Yeah,
it was like fractured cartilage or something.
So super duper tough, and we're gonna see what Wiggins is gonna be able to do, not just on the offensive end, but the defensive end. Because, check out, like, imagine taking a LeBron shoulder to the chest when you have a freaking rib injury. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm very interested to see what Wiggins' performance is going to be like this game. It sounds like they're going to need Game 6 Clay and everything Game 6 Clay can offer in this game for them to be in it. And we're going to see. Like, Steph is going to have to be there. Clay's going to have to be there. Jordan Poole is going to have to come for you for a cup of coffee off the bench this game. Like, you're going to need to get this production from a bunch of other places. And I just think I trust the Lakers to do what they've been doing majority of the series and get that production from all the other guys that they have. So, yeah, I'm on the Lakers here, -3.
Yeah, for me, going into the series, I had the Lakers in 6 in the series, and I actually have gotten every game right so far. So right now, this is the biggest game for me because I'm competing with a Corgi for who's going to win Game 6. But I've also gone 5 for 5 so far in the series. I do think, though, that the tide is turning a little bit because of the injury status of AD and LeBron. I thought LeBron ended up tweaking his leg late in the game 5 loss, which not enough people talked about. They were talking about AD, and I know LeBron had a putback dunk right after it anyway. And maybe LeBron knew the game was a blowout, so he was kind of conserving energy, but he did look a step slower, and he was constantly trying to stretch out that leg when he was on the court after AD got injured, and it seemed like LeBron tweaked something. I'm keeping an eye on it because I do think that it's something that's worth monitoring, but even though I picked the Lakers to win this series in 6, and even though they have been very good at home in this overall playoff run, they're undefeated at home, I believe. I do think that the Warriors found something in game 5. Now, you can make an argument that, well, the Lakers just, their overall intensity wasn't there defensively, and all of us thought it wasn't going to be there. That's why the Warriors were favored by 7.5, and why I thought they'd win the game comfortably. But I do think that if Draymond's going to play that well, if Draymond's going to be aggressive, if he's going to be able to actually push the pace here, I do think that there's a decent chance Golden State pulls this off. Well, you just made a facial reaction.
It literally had nothing to do with what you were saying, but I just thought about this. If the Lakers actually get this done, if they find their way past Denver, and of the 4 teams that I don't trust in the East, if they win a title, Russell Westbrook gets a ring.
Yeah, him and Patrick Beverley got a ring together.
Holy crap.
I don't know if you realize that part of it, but yeah, him and Beverley both get rings.
That is insane.
Well, there was a soundbite from Pat Bev's podcast where I don't know if you actually know this or not, but Pat Bev has like a podcast that he does with somebody from Barstool. So I believe they were talking about the rings and how, if the Lakers win, you get a ring, whatever. And Westbrook was like behind the scenes when Beverley was doing the podcast, and Westbrook said, "I'm getting that ring." Like, he basically said, "I'm claiming that ring if the Lakers win the title." I don't blame him.
That is hilarious.
People forget that Boogie Cousins got a ring because he got injured with the Lakers. He didn't play a single game, but technically he got the bubble ring, and Boogie Cousins said that he accepted the bubble ring from the Lakers. So Boogie Cousins has a ring. People might not realize that. But yeah, Westbrook and Pat Bev would be in line for a ring. So yeah, that definitely is a thing. But
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I just had that realization as you were talking. I was like,
but anyway, to go back to the point that I was going to make, I think I actually am going to lean to Golden State. I might have pivoted a little bit, but I do think Draymond, if he's going to be that aggressive offensively, and AD, even if he's fully healthy, we know that he's willing to, let's just say, show a lack of focus at big moments at times if things don't go his way early. Golden State really did a great job of exploiting him in pick and roll, like I thought they would, like they did in game 4, which they went away from as the game went on. They got AD heavily involved in switches on the perimeter, and they ran a lot of backdoor action to get a lot of wide open layups. The points in the paint were close in the game in game 5, and AD, big stat here, 0 blocks. He had 0 blocks in game 5 because they took him away from the basket. So I do think Golden State might have found something. And with AD being injured and with LeBron, or AD potentially being injured and LeBron potentially tweaking his foot, they were already really bad at transition defense. If Golden State just ran the entire game, it would not surprise me if they stole one. I think I'm going to lean to Golden State. I don't feel great about it. My favorite play in this game will be Lakers team total under. I took it last game as my lock in game 5. In game 5, it got there. I love the Lakers team total under here because with their 2 stars battling injuries and with you not really knowing which supporting cast guy is going to step up, Golden State's defensive intensity was definitely there in game 5. And I do think the Lakers will struggle at times offensively because the team is kind of built that way. They try to play bully ball, but they really don't have many backup options because they don't have many great shooters on the court. I like Lakers team total under. I think this number's a bit too high.
All right.
You have any thoughts on that? It's kind of segueing into the total, but I'm going to under in this game.
No, I don't. I mean, I think I'm going with the under anyway, so I can win this game and the Lakers team total go under. I'm not going to play it like that, but so I don't have really anything to say. But I do think that the Lakers do enough. I think it's going to be a fun, a good game, and I think they just do enough and eke it out at the end just because when it gets into crunch time, And it's funny because I don't think either side has a really an answer for the best players on either side. So that's where the clutch timeness is going to be interesting. Like, who's going to be more clutch, LeBron and Anthony Davis, or Steph Curry and more than likely Klay Thompson, because it's Game 6, maybe. But we'll
For
see.
the record, Klay Thompson has not been particularly good in the last couple of game sixes he's been in, but still, he's got a reputation.
Yeah. All right. Imagine the post that he has if he has an all-time Clay Game 6 day and they win and extend to 7. His Instagram post is going to be hilarious. Let's move on to props. What are you looking at here on this slate?
I do think that a good starting point, maybe it's based on the injuries. I am tempted by Anthony Davis unders. I really
Hmm.
am.
Hmm.
I really just think that after suffering the head injury, would I be shocked if there's a lackluster performance in there? No. AD, I do think, of course, is pretty much the catalyst to the Lakers' entire run because LeBron has been more passive and he's been deferring more so
Mm-hmm.
far in the playoffs, which I think is pretty obvious at this point. But you're looking at AD's props, and it's at 23.5 for points. His rebounds are pretty much always at 14.5. But
Mm-hmm.
once again, the Warriors have been doing a great job. It's at 13.5 now, juiced over. So you could probably find a 14.5 somewhere. The Warriors have really gotten AD involved in a bunch of pick and rolls defensively. And once again, they're dragging him away from the basket, which has limited the number of rebounding chances that he has. I think it's correlated. And if I think Golden State's got a shot to win this game, it means I'm expecting AD to not have a masterclass. So I do think I'm actually leaning to AD unders. I do think that the Warriors defensively can make life difficult for him. I do think they can make life difficult for him by making him run up and down the court. And I
Mm-hmm.
think as a result, he might have some problems in this game. I'm going to lean to Davis unders. I know some people might blindly take the over. It's a home closeout game. He might be in line to have himself a great performance. If AD came out here and laid an egg, if AD gave you 16-8, would you be really shocked? Because I don't think I'd be really shocked.
Uh, I think I'd be shocked because I'm on the Lakers, so
Okay.
I'd probably be cursing his name to the gods. Like, so, uh, I think that this could be. It's just the fact of I think when this game is going to be fun, it's going to be competitive, it's going to be everything people would want in a Game 7, but in a Game 6 because of what it means on both sides. Uh, and so I feel like at the end of the game, I really think it's going to be LeBron and AD show. Like, I know we've gotten your Reeves game, we've gotten the Lonnie Walker game. Shoot, Dennis Schroeder had a good game last game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did.
We've gotten D'Lo, like we've gotten everybody else. I think this time right here, the second chance to put this team away, I think it's all AD and LeBron towards the end of the game. Honestly, like there's no response on the Golden State side for those two, and I can just see Darvin Ham just saying, "All right, y'all two go to work." Like y'all two go to work, y'all, and I can see LeBron and AG saying, "Look, we appreciate you and getting us this far, but we're bringing this thing home." Like I really can. So I kind of lean over on both players. I think this could be like a 30 piece for both players, and that's how they end up getting the win here.
I think I have a hard time of leaning towards the over on the Stars when I think the game's going to fly under. I'm expecting a rock fight in this game. I think you're going
Yeah.
to see a great defensive effort from both sides. I'm not saying it's going to be as ugly as game 4, where the game landed 205. It would not shock me if the game landed below 210. So,
Hmm.
with that being the case, I have a hard time personally going to the window with overs. But if the Lakers are going to win, they're going to need LeBron and AD to carry them. I'm
Hmm.
just a bit skeptical if that actually happened because Golden State in the fourth quarter defensively, so far, they've done a very good job of bottling up LeBron and AD and forcing role players to beat them.
All right. And that's what kind of makes it hard with props because it's like the Lakers have been really good about different people stepping up, for multiple nights. And I feel like I only want to trust the Stars in this game, honestly and truly.
Well, I'm going to go back to Jordan Poole under. I know he finished with 11 points last game.
And went over. Hey, wait, did I say that? Did I say watch?
Yeah, you said he finished with exactly 11, and he finished with 11. Yeah, you had that exactly right. But
Poole, I swear, player unders are so petty. Like players that just they're bad in this series. Like they're really petty. You had the Al Horford, you had Jordan Poole that game. Like it's been a lot of people that just randomly, have their one good game or at least enough to cash the prop. Like it's really, really annoying. Betting sucks.
Yeah, but I do want to point out why I do like Poole under again in this game, despite the fact that it didn't cash the last game. So he made his first couple shots in game 4, and then Poole started taking heat checks after making a layup. Like that was the stage he was at mentally, where he made a layup and he's like, all right, I'm shooting the ball 20 times. Poole played 23 minutes. He took 14 shots in 23 minutes. Went 5 for 14, 1 for 6 from 3. Poole had 9 points before garbage time. He played the last 4 minutes of regulation because they were up 20. So Poole probably should have gone under, but he only went over because they brought him back into the game in the final couple of minutes when he was never going to play because they were up by a large margin. But Poole started off making a couple of his first few shots, and then I think he went I don't even know, 2 for 9 to finish the game. Like he bricked everything late, and he can't guard anybody. It's really just a problem. He cannot guard anybody. So I think I'm still going to have to lean to Poole unders anyway, because as a defensive liability, he might get his minutes cut in a win or go home game for the Warriors. I'm going back to Poole unders. He went over on a technicality fluke in garbage time in game 5. I'm going to go back to Poole unders.
By the way, Lonnie Walker had 4 points in that last game. I know there was some discussion that Lonnie Walker had been over his points prop in every game. Yeah, so
and he also played garbage time.
Pat on the back there. Okay, so Andrew Wiggins under 16.5 points.
Yeah, he has 1 rib, so I don't blame you for that.
And the fact that he's been under this line in 3 of the 5 already. He's really not been the most effective on the offensive end over the course of the series. And now he's got this rib injury. And I'm telling you, I don't think it's going to feel good if you take one to chest from LeBron on a drive with that rib injury. And the shooting stroke, all of that stuff could be off. It seems like it's too easy. And that's why I'm kind of afraid of it, because I hate plays that seem too easy. But I just don't know how I'm getting away from playing Andrew Wiggins under today. So under 16.5 for Andrew Wiggins, minus 120.
I saw somebody mention in the chat here, Reggie mentioned before that he likes Curry under 32.5 points. It's hit in 12 of the past 13 road games. The one exception, of course, was Game 7 against the Kings, where he dropped 50. But I think the Lakers have done a good job defending Curry.
Yep.
And if you want to actually look at Curry's 3-point numbers in the series, he's actually been quite inefficient. And maybe that's the argument of, maybe he's due for some positive regression, which is why he's in line for a big game. But I want to read off the 3-point numbers here in this Lakers series. So game 1, he went 6 for 13. Game 2, he went 3 for 5. 5 attempts is a bit weird, but they won comfortably, so he only played 30 minutes. Went 4 for 10 in game 3, so 40%, decent. You'd probably assume Curry's going to shoot better. Last 2 games, 3 for 14, 3 for 11. So the Lakers have done a good job defending him. I'm actually with you on the under on Curry. The Lakers have really done whatever they can to force other guys into beating them. And unless Clay steps up and Wiggins now is a messed up rib, and you're looking at the supporting cast, I really do think that the Warriors should be forced into relying on other guys. If I'm the Lakers, I don't know about you, I'm not letting Curry beat me in a game 6 where you have a shot to close out the series. I'm daring the other guys to either who are dealing with injuries or just bad shooting performances right now with Clay and Poole. I'd lean to Curry under as well. I think Curry assists might be worth a look. But if I'm the Lakers and I have to prepare a game plan, I am not letting Curry go into my building and scoring 35 points. That is not happening. So I agree with the under 32.5.
Clay has to live up to the name. I feel like if I were to play Golden State, and I might actually have a play on Golden State, I might actually do that and play Golden State with Clay to have 30. Because, like, come
I
on,
don't know about
this is
30. I'd
literally
probably top it off at 25, but I'd
no, because
probably
he could. I can see him like 7 threes and just boom, like
yeah, exactly.
explosion.
7 threes is 21 points. I'm not sure he's
Nah,
gonna
but he's gonna get others. He's gonna get
Eh,
others. He's not gonna just have the
doesn't
7
get to the
threes.
line that much. I'd rather take the alternative threes than points. That's what I'm trying to say. If I was going to take a Clay over, but all I'm going to say is I've taken a lot of crap for calling out Clay on the show for the past couple of months. I feel pretty good right now, just to be honest with you. Now because I said that he might drop 30 in this game, but it doesn't change the fact that for the most part, Clay's been underwhelming this entire playoff run, and he still went 4 for 19 in a game 7. Yeah, I'm not that high on Klay Thompson. I've said it for months, and nothing's really changed on my stance.
I'll probably have a sprinkle on some type of Clay prop and to win the game because that's the only way I can see it for the Warriors.
Are you tempted at all by Draymond over 9.5 because of just the
I
fact
was
that
looking at it and
he's been really aggressive, especially last game, and in closeout games, he's historically been really good.
I was leaning to the under.
You're leaning under. Okay.
Yeah, I was 100% for just fading, a player that typically goes under this line that's just been shooting the ball recently. Like, I mean,
I do think taking 80 away from the basket, though, on those pick and roll switches does open up a lane for Draymond to go to the rim where the Lakers don't have as much backup rim protection.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about maybe Draymond triple-double, which is like 15-1, which I thought about.
I was just going to do the rebounds prop over 7.5. He's been over it 3 times in the series where he had 11, 10, and 10. So
the rebounds are there. I do think that if Curry's going to go over, some of it might be off ball, or maybe you get Draymond downhill, and now the Lakers have to respect it because he actually dropped 20 points last game, and maybe he gets a couple of lobs or backdoor cuts from Peyton, or maybe Clay at some threes.
I don't know. If I'm the Lakers, I'm like, go ahead. I would give Draymond the opportunity again and just say, do it again.
That's why I thought about maybe the over on Draymond initially, but I do think maybe PRAs for Draymond is worth a look, or maybe RAs if you want to ignore the points. I can see Draymond having a good game here. He's been historically good in potential elimination games.
I think the only way I play it is the rebounds.
Okay.
All right. Lock and dog time.
We are going first.
So. Dude, I mean, come on, man. He's got one rib, and he's already been having a rough series. If it's the Klay Thompson day, that's going to take attempts from him. Jordan Poole's going to take attempts for everybody, regardless.
Well, even if it's not the Klay Thompson day, every day in his own mind is a Klay Thompson game. So he's going to keep shooting. So
yeah, man, I'm going to do it. Give me Wiggins under 16.5 points, minus 120. He struggled to get there in this series already, and now he's got one rib. I would really be annoying if he got over this points prop. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, I'm doing Wiggins under 16.5 for my dog.
I'm curious where you're going to go with this one.
I am actually curious where I'm going with it too. Do I just trust AD?
You
can. Because everybody, it feels like everybody's fading him. Like he just got hurt last game, and he's still like dominant. Like he can still be really, really.
He's still vanished pretty frequently in the fourth quarter of the series.
He has,
which is a bit concerning. But
that's also a part of the handicap. I haven't gotten 4 quarters from him. So I got to get one with 4 quarters, right? Last time I took AD for 30, I got it. And I haven't took it again since, and he hasn't gotten there. So I think that's an omen. Give me Anthony Davis, 30 plus points, 3-1. No puppy picks around here.
Fair enough. So for my lock on the show, I'm going to go back to my lock from the last show, which cashed. Give me the Lakers team total under. We've seen a bunch of money coming in on the under for this game. The Lakers team total under, I can still get at 111.5 at minus 110 on the under. I'm going to take that. The Lakers' last 2 games scored 106 points in game 5 and 104 points in game 4. They scored 127 in game 3. The Warriors basically no-showed the game. Scored 100 in game 2 And they scored 117 in game one. But even with that being the case, a lot of that was early in the game because of the fact that they really didn't do much in the fourth quarter. And the fourth quarters in this series have been pretty ugly. Give me the Lakers team total under 111.5. LeBron's banged up. AD's banged up now. The number feels a bit high. That's going to be my lock. Give me the Lakers team total under 111.5. And for my dog on the show, I was contemplating potentially taking Knicks money line because of the fact that, once again, the Heat have lost each of the last 10 games with Scott Foster as the ref. But I do think I am going to pivot, and I do think I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson 10-plus assists. I think he's going to play a bunch of minutes. I think Spoelstra is going to be the kind of coach who would basically say, anybody but this guy is going to beat us. And I think as a result, Brunson 10-plus assists is plus 450. The number's massive. Give me the plus 450 on Brunson 10-plus assists.
All right. I like it.
You have any thoughts on that?
Nah, I like it. Like I said, I really think that's the adjustment for this game. And the series started with them double teaming Randall, but then they realized, hey, we don't have to because this guy stinks. And so let's go ahead and double team Brunson, which actually, and I was playing around with situations of how I thought the Knicks would win this game and how I wanted to be able to post some crazy massive thing if the Knicks actually somehow found a way to win this game. So of course, Knicks money line, but I was playing around with the Brunson assists and Randall points type of thing with that because that like you need an act of God for the Knicks to win this game. Like, and it seems like the league is trying to make that happen because they sent the extender and the Heat hater, according to the numbers, Scott Foster to this game. So
0-10 straight up, 1-9 ATS.
It's gonna be super duper interesting. All right,
450 though, I think is insane. Brunson had how many assists did Brunson have last game? Either at 7 or 8. I think he had 7 because I saw a couple of bad beats on some people that had parlays with Brunson assists in it. I'm pretty sure he had 7 assists.
Yeah, he had 7.
He had 7 assists, but I believe he did not record a single assist in the last quarter and a half. Like from like the 7-minute mark of the third quarter all the way through the fourth quarter, he had 0 assists, and he still had 7. He also had 11 the game prior and 8 the game before that. He's been close. 450, I think, is a bit crazy because I doubt Spoelstra lets him go nuts again. I got to take that at 450.
All right. I'm going to craft up this is the axe that has to happen for the Knicks to actually win this game. Parlay.
I'm surprised they don't just take Brunson 10-plus assists and parlay with Knicks money line. It's already too decent those prices.
No, so that's on there, but like I'm trying to get like I'm trying to go viral.
Okay.
But it is 10-1 if you do that. And that's a pretty good price. But
so do you want to take Knicks first half and full game?
Oh no. So right now, what's in the parlay is Randall for 30, because that has to happen if the Knicks are going to win the game. They're not winning if Julius Randle doesn't show up. Brunson probably gets a bunch of assists because they start double teaming him. Maybe we throw Brunson under in there because it's at 27.5. He could still have 25, and they have, so maybe we do that as well. That could be a fun.
If you think that he's going to have less shot attempts because they're doubling, that does make sense.
Yeah, so throw the Brunson under. Now I'm at 87-1.
Is that good enough for you? Or are you looking for the?
No, it's not, because I don't trust the Knicks at all. So no, it's not. So we got to throw Jimmy in there under because he hasn't been getting the points prop anyway. Now it's 160-1. Now I am interested on betting the Knicks.
You just want to be retweeted by Action Network because you have access to their pro account. You just want them to retweet your stuff.
They'll retweet me anyway. I don't need to make a crazy parlay. I can get them to retweet me whenever I want. All right. Anything else for people before we get up out of here?
Not really. I'm looking forward to the games tonight.
Oh, drop your picks in the chat before we get up out of here. Hurry up.
You want me to drop my picks?
No, I was talking to the chat. Sorry.
I'm trolling. Relax, I'm trolling.
Go ahead.
But I do think that it should be a fun day. It feels weird that Denver in Game 6 was the first team to win a series. We had no series end in 4 or 5.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I'm rooting for Game 7s. Just in general, why would I not want potentially 3 Game 7s? That's just a dream for a sports fan. But I'm looking forward to the games tonight, and hopefully we win some bets.
All right. Tony Wynn said he's playing Heat under first half under 106.5, has hit in every game so far. 5-0. Huh, I didn't know that hit in every single game. I have
That
bet.
does not surprise me. It's been
Yeah,
it's
it
been
doesn't
a
at
really
all.
ugly
Why
first
haven't we been
half.
on it? We've actually been on that a couple times though. Why have we not bet that every single game? Huh.
I don't know what
I
you've been
folded.
doing, but maybe one of us has been betting some first half unders.
Yeah, I think I've done it twice out of this whole series. I'm kind of pissed that I didn't get it those extra 3 games. Wow,
I took
that's
the
cheating.
Knicks team total instead in Game 3 under, and the Knicks team total under on the road has been really good as well. So
All right, before we get up out of here, Reggie Hunt is fading Clay. Clay under 4.5 threes. I'm not mad at you.
I don't blame you.
Let's see. We got Knicks first half, Knicks full game money line. I like that energy. Brunson under 27.5. I kind of like that energy, but it makes sense. Brunson assist. Yeah, 100% makes sense. All right. Other than that, I have nothing else to say. Nothing else to do. Oh, wait. No, follow us on SGPN NBA. Make sure you do that on Twitter at SGPN NBA. Make sure you follow us. Like the video, like the video, like the video, like all our videos. Make sure you subscribe, all of that stuff on YouTube. Reviews, leave reviews, leave reviews, leave reviews. Don't be a coward, leave reviews. Other than that, we got a Randall under points and rebounds as well.
Okay,
Other than that,
I'm assuming that's correlated with Randall under with the Knicks just losing the game because, as
yeah,
you said, they're going to need him to play well.
Yeah, I would play that with Miami money line, to be honest, and just juice it up, get some plus money there.
By the way, just to ask, there are how many games are on? Are there any games on Saturday? Because I know Game 7 Game 7 for the Lakers and the Celtics would be Sunday. So I believe there's no games.
There
Saturday.
are 0 games scheduled for Saturday.
I wanted to bring it up because we're not going to have a show tomorrow. So if you're expecting one, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we have no games to talk about.
Yeah, we do not. And Moonoff is out, so we can't talk about the sharp off, which I did do well in the sharp off this year. Very surprising, as I am not a future bettor. All right. Other than that, nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just end it like this. We are out of here.